The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are the views and opinions of the person making them and do not represent Grab a Stack of Rock, its parent, or affiliate companies.
Friday night, we're off to the races. Come and see familiar faces.
Hey everyone, and Henry too. Welcome to Grab a Stack of Rock on Friday, January the 16th. We're already halfway through this month. Harrison, how are you doing tonight?
Good, good. I'm not planning on saying anything controversial, but then again, just because Harrison doesn't think it's controversial doesn't mean it's not controversial.
How much controversy can we get into tonight? Tonight's topic is a special one because we're letting Harrison take the reins again, and we're doing a band that, according to our friend Holin, he didn't expect Harrison to like. And you know what? To be honest, I've always kind of found Concrete Blonde on the outside of the bands that I liked. They were cool. I liked them from what I saw on television, but they were never, heavy metal. And I was a heavy metal. I was really stringent, I guess I would say, in my rules about what I liked and what I didn't like. Hello to John as well. Really nice to see you.
I'm the complete opposite. I have no rules. There is no rhyme
Yeah.
or reason. I will like some things. I will not like other things. I will think that Painkiller is like the worst Judas Priest song. All sorts of... Oh, wait. I am going to be saying controversial things today, it seems.
Hey, here's a connection. Painkiller and Bloodletting were both produced by Chris Sangarides.
Indeed.
Who's one of my favorite producers. Anyway, long story short, we are talking about Concrete Blonde, the band from LA, Jeanette Napolitano. Did I say that correctly?
I believe
hope
that,
so.
yeah.
And like I said, this band was always kind of like on the outside of what I liked. I would see them on the charts, and I heard Joey was an amazing song. It was a great song back in 1990 when it came out, and it still is today. But I first became aware of them with God is a Bullet and Still in Hollywood. Is that the name of the song, or is it Lost in
Yes,
Still
there
in
is
Hollywood?
still in Hollywood, but there's also an alternate lyrics version.
Okay, so those three songs were sort of what I remember the most, and they were what you'd call alternative rock, which is what the goth kids in my high school liked. And we didn't really have goth kids; we had more like loners and stuff. But now I legitimately am a fan because Harrison gifted me this wonderful 20th anniversary edition of Bloodletting with bonus tracks. And I really am legitimately a fan. I think they are absolutely great. I love Jeanette's voice. There's some fantastic musicians in this band, as we will get to. But enough about me. Harrison, how did you discover and fall in love with Concrete Blonde?
Well, the first Concrete Blonde song I heard was Joey, but probably not in the way that a lot of other people did, which would have been on the radio. It was in a mix CD that my aunt or uncle had made for my father, and that was in the car. And then later on, when they digitized their CD collection, they gifted to us Recollection, the greatest hits that you can see just underneath Mike between the cardboard and the leftmost disc. So Concrete Blonde are, in my opinion, to alternative rock what Iron Maiden are to heavy metal, in that they're stylistically similar, but they play their own thing in a way that you can't properly and adequately describe their sound just by saying they are this genre.
In short, they're not in your normal wheelhouse, but you like them because, as we'll see, they're pretty good.
I just think they're a phenomenal band, and they're very much an artist's band. So I'm going to go through the discography, run through my collection in more or less chronological order here. This is going to be sort of like a informative and also a collector's guide too, because I've got a lot of rare stuff now. My collection is 95% complete. I am still missing a few really, really rare things. However, I've got like most of it. One last thing, though, regarding this, you will not be, because I use the Mike Lodano method of completion, which is I need at least one physical copy of every song, not every physical copy of every song. So you will not be seeing a lot of the early singles because the band have a wonderful B-sides and rarities collection that compiles all of those B-sides, hence reducing the need for 99% of the singles.
Perfect.
But we're going to get right into it. Mike, you were saying something? Sorry.
No, I just said perfect, and I'm excited, and maybe I'll just address Roger's comment here. Concrete Blonde formed in what, 1982 or 84? 82, I think.
82. That Jeanette had a couple of bands before that, like Dream Six and one or two other things that sort of flowed right into each other and then into Concrete Blonde.
The core of the band over the decades has been bassist and lead vocalist Jeanette Napolitano and James Mankey on guitar, both of whom are fantastic. We'll get into it.
And there's been a Spinal Tap-ish-esque rotating seat of drummers.
Yeah, with some big names too. Okay, Harrison, I guess you're going to start with the debut or the debut.
We kick it off with the self-titled debut from 1986. This is a really solid album. It's not on the level of Iron Maiden's debut, which I consider the gold standard of debut. There's a lot of great songs on here, a good mix of the softer and the rocking stuff. True, Dance Along the Edge, and Still in Hollywood have all been like throughout the set lists fairly regularly through the band's career. And there's a number of deeper cuts on here that are really good, like Your Haunted Head, Make Me Cry, Over Your Shoulder, and Cold Part of Town, which that one even made it onto the greatest hits collection. Now, because this is 86, there's some synth sounds that you hear on the songs in here that are sort of very characteristic of the era that would not be retained in any way in the band's sound. So it's a bit of a unique sounding album at times compared to the rest of their discography. Now, later releases of this album, including this CD release that I have here, include a bonus track, I'll Chew You Up and Spit You Out, which is the aforementioned alternate lyric version of Still in Hollywood with in addition, a new spoken word outro.
Cool. So that's the version I would want.
Yes. Now, yes, I should also say, everything you're going to see from me is out of print. The only thing from this band that is still in print is what Mike had. So getting this collection to this level requires a lot of discogs. Not all of them are expensive, but there are some very expensive and rare things. Every single thing here is out of print. A lot of it was on IRS.
Okay, well, that would be part of the reason then.
Which explains why a lot of it is out of print. And then the stuff that's not on IRS was like small release, later in their career.
Okay.
But it takes another 3 years before we get to an album. We get 1989's Free. Now, this album is a bit overlooked in the discography, and by me, I'm guilty of that as well, too. But there are some real gems on here, like the aforementioned God is a Bullet, one of their best songs. There's Scene of a Perfect Crime on here, and then a couple of my favorite sort of deeper cuts, Little Conversations, and Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday not being a cover of the classic Happy Birthday to You, but instead a completely original song called Happy Birthday, which the band, I've said, can often be not accused of, but like they make sad music, not music that is like, oh, I'm so sad, but like if there's an inherent sadness because a lot of this music is reflective of life and sometimes life is sad. So there's an inherent sadness, but Happy Birthday is a bright, upbeat song that sort of stands out that I really love on their discography. Now we get to my favorite album of them all, 1990, the one from Joey's from It's Bloodletting. Fantastic, phenomenal album. So many... Well, I was going to say so many hits on here. Some people think that they're a one-hit wonder band with Joey, but it's got Joey, it's got Caroline, it's got the title track, Bloodletting, the vampire song. Then you've got Tomorrow, Wendy, one of their most famous songs. And then the deeper cuts on here are all really good too. The Sky is a Poisonous Garden, which is like, it's almost speed metal or thrash metal. Like, it's well produced, but like, give it one extra notch of like unchainedness, and it's like full on thrash metal, which is not what I expected from the band, but it showcases their versatility because The Sky is a Poisonous Garden is a great song. There's also The Beast. Sorry.
I'm going to want to talk about this album a bit too. So when you're done, let me know.
Yeah, there's The Beast and Days and Days, which are a back-to-back deep cut duo that I really like. Days and Days being the more traditional rocker, and The Beast being a sort of like more slow burn, simmer, atmospheric rocker based on sort of like this cool melody. Now I have, and this is one of the rarest Concrete Blonde album edition. This is the Australian tour edition of Bloodletting. Now this is unique because, as this hype sticker says on the case, it comes with 4 bonus live tracks recorded at the Malibu nightclub 1990.
Pardon me for
are
asking. Pardon me for
Yes?
asking. Why is that hype sticker sideways?
I don't know. Maybe CD used to be displayed like this, so you could see the top of the thing. So as you're flicking through them,
Sure.
so there are 4 live tracks. Now 3 of them, Roses Grow, The Sky is a Poisonous Garden, and Tomorrow Wendy Live, appeared all over the place as B-sides. Those are not hard to get, but there is an exclusive live version of God is a Bullet on here that you cannot get anywhere else other than this Australian tour edition of Bloodletting. And it fills me with a little bit of national warmth knowing that there's a really cool rarity that's exclusive to Australia. That's funny. The last thing I have to say about this, so this hype sticker here says 4 bonus live tracks: Roses Grow, Tomorrow Wendy, God is a Bullet, The Sky is a Poisonous Garden. Now, the 3 of those actually do appear on Mike's copy. Now, the disc says that it's God is a Bullet, Sky is a Poisonous Garden, Roses Grow, Tomorrow Wendy. Now, the disc order is the order that they are on the disc, what it says on the disc. The hype sticker is the order that they're listed in Windows Media Player. So I double-click on the song that says it's Sky's a Poisonous Garden, and it's like Tomorrow Wendy, and I'm like, oh, so they're doing like an acoustic version of Sky's a Poisonous Garden. An interesting choice. And then she starts singing about Tomorrow Wendy. I'm like, oh, hang on, there's a mistake here. But that's all I have to say about Bloodletting.
So you gifted me this album a couple of years ago. I think it was unboxed in the Married in Heels episode. I played it, shelved it, and then got it out again this week for our episode, and it just suddenly clicked. It just clicked, and I was attracted to the darkness of it, the melodicism, the guitar playing. James Mankey's guitar solo on Joey is exceptional. It's magnificent. It's up there with some of the best guitar solos I've ever heard. You know, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this solo. And I was like immediately remembering every note, you know. But I think Tomorrow Wendy and Caroline were the 2 that surprised me the most. I was like, wow, these are powerful. They're not heavy, but they're powerful. And the live version of Tomorrow Wendy is even more so. But I said yesterday to myself, alone in my office, I said yesterday, and I'm going to say it here publicly, it's the best cover of Little Wing by Hendrix that I've ever heard. Ever. So I'm putting that down.
The band is quite good at their covers. You'll see a few more as we go through. Yeah. Bloodletting is my...
I was going to say one cool thing about this is that they've got Paul Thompson from Roxy Music on drums. And there's actually a part in the live version of... I think The Sky is a Poisonous Garden. There's a part where Jonette says, we've got Paul Thompson from Roxy Music and he's a blonde now, or something like that. I love it. I love it. He is a magnificent drummer, and you can really feel his presence on this album.
Yeah, one of my favorite Jonette stage moments is where she introduces herself. Hi, my name's Jonette. I try to play bass. She's a fantastic bass player. And sometimes because they've only got one guitarist, the sparser arrangements really allow you to hear really clearly and appreciate her bass playing. Yeah. Bloodletting is a great album. It really sort of shows the strength of their songwriting and playing. And I mean, James Mankey's guitar tone is really unique and sort of a major contributor to their sound. And it, like you mentioned, it has that gothic darkness that is, I'd say, mostly unique to this album. There is darkness elsewhere in the discography, but as Jonette put it, it was a miserable time, and that came out in the music. So she basically said they couldn't make Bloodletting before, after, or again. It could only have been made at that time. So you mentioned Joey. Now we actually do get to see a single release here, because I have the CD single for Joey from 1990. Now this has, of course, Joey, the A-side, The Beast as a B-side, an album track, and then it has I Want You, which is a non-album track B-side. Now I had to buy this because I wanted I Want You for the collection. Now I Want You is on Mike's version of Bloodletting, so if I didn't buy this, I would have had to buy his, but it was the only song from Mike's version that I didn't have, so I would prefer to get this, because now I have different cover art than 2 lots of Bloodletting in there. in the collection.
I don't
The-
think I have that song "The Beast" on. Oh, there it is. No, there.
Oh, it's an album
Yeah.
track. Yeah,
Okay.
not an album track.
Okay.
And another single, now we're going into 1991. Another single from Bloodletting is the title track, Bloodletting, the Vampire Song. This is the maxi single. This has been written on the insert for some reason. I do not know the significance. It is what it is. So the maxi single version of Bloodletting, the Vampire Song has Bloodletting, the Vampire Song, short version. Bloodletting, the Vampire Song, album version. Bloodletting, the Vampire Song, French version, which is also on Mike's copy, and Bloodletting, the Vampire Song, German version, which is 4 of the 5 versions of Bloodletting, the Vampire Song you can get. Now, the French and German version, the verses are in their respective languages, the choruses are still in English.
And there's another version.
Yes, there is. It's the extended version, which we'll get to a bit later. Yeah. This is a fantastic way, this disc, to get most of the versions of Bloodletting, the Vampire Song. Really good for the collectors. And so the last sort of disc that I do include the various artists' compilations that feature songs, because a lot of them are unique and exclusive, the songs that are featured. So the last album that we have to talk about from the Bloodletting cycle is this, Triple J Live at the Wireless. Now, this is just a collection of live performances from different bands. Concrete Blonde contribute Make Me Cry from the first album, which is the only live version of Make Me Cry, which makes it extra special. But what's truly, truly special about this album here is that there's a man by the name of Andy Preboy on here, and the song called Tomorrow Wendy. Now, for those who don't know, Tomorrow Wendy was originally an Andy Preboy song that Jeanette made a guest appearance on singing. And then later that year, Jeanette covered it, Concrete Blonde covered it on Bloodletting. Now, Andy Preboy's version is very different, not most notably because he sings some verses, but because it's a bit more up-tempo piano-led, because Andy Preboy's a piano player. But because Concrete Blonde and Andy Preboy occasionally played together, I think he sometimes opened for them on the Bloodletting tour. So the version of Make Me Cry here has Andy on keyboards, but Andy's version of Tomorrow Wendy here has Jeanette doing her guest appearance. So this is a really, really awesome thing you can get, which is the original version of Bloodletting played live as it was originally recorded. As per the original Andy Preboy studio version. And I think that's just amazing that we actually get to hear that live. Because I'm going to say this is way off topic, but Lady Gaga, as far as I know, has never performed Telephone with Beyonce. So, like, you know, there are these songs that you don't. Yes, this is a Harrison special, taking a bit of a break from Iron Maiden. So I'm just going to rattle off a list of.
We'll be back next week, though, Owen.
Yes, so, with Death on the Road.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with Death on the Road.
We are grab a stack of rock, not grab a stack of Iron Maiden. So we do occasionally do other things. But I'm just going to rattle off a list of some of the more other interesting names that appear on this compilation. There's a group called Violent Femmes, which I think I've heard of. Faith No More have a live version of Falling to Pieces on here.
Do you have any more information on that Faith No More recording? Does it say when and where?
Let me look in the liner notes. I've heard of Archie Roach, and that's all that I know of on here. Faith No More. Let's see.
Yeah, because I don't know if I have that.
Falling to Pieces. Where are we? Faith No More, Falling to Pieces. Sydney, ABC Studio 210. It doesn't say when, unfortunately. It just says where.
Oh, I don't think I have
that. Oh, actually, it says 30th of July, 1990.
I don't think I have that. And my Faith No More collection's pretty beefy. So add that, Harrison, to the list of CDs that you have that I want. I do need to interrupt you for a moment because we forgot to do something very, 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 very important, which is wish Jake, not from State Farm, a happy birthday. And Jake would like us to share this. Not sure the entire reason for it, but let's see if this works. It's not working, is it?
I can't see anything.
Okay, we're going to try this differently.
Yeah, just to quickly address your comment, Henry, I'm not 100% sure actually on the pronunciation of Andy Preboy, whether it's Pryboy or Preboy.
Here we go. This is what Jake wanted to share. So happy birthday to Jake, not from State Farm. Unfortunately, he is working today on his own birthday, which really sucks. So we really, truly do wish Jake the happiest of birthdays. He deserves it. And he looks pretty good for 36. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes. We are now going into the next studio album, 1992's Walking in London. This is a fantastic album. I would say that this is one of, if you were going to start with an album, start with Walking in London, because while Bloodletting is amazing and is a great showcase of their songwriting ability, Walking in London is the best showcase of Jonette's amazing, fantastic vocal ability. The title track, Walking in London, and the song Why Don't You See Me, are two of the best female vocal performances I've ever heard, in my opinion. And if that doesn't sell you on Jonette Napolitano, nothing will. And these are not like Iron Maiden Monster Girls, where they put down a blazing vocal track and then never touched it again. Jonette performed both of those songs live, and she did them justice. She did. There are also some other songs on here, like Ghost of a Texas Ladies Man is a really fun sort of song with a bit of country twang and some humor in it. Deeper cuts like Woman to Woman, City Screaming, a long time ago. Someday has been a live staple. And there's also a cover of It's a Man's World on here, the James Brown song.
I remember a music video for Someday. I think that was a single, and it's very
that
pop.
was definitely one of a single. Yeah,
it's very pop and very catchy.
Yeah. Although when she did it live, she would let loose a lot more vocally on the finale. So I generally think that the live versions are better. Now this is a 2 CD case. There's a reason for that. We will get to that shortly. Next up, this is a single for It's a maxi single for Walking in London. I didn't need to. Well, actually, I did need to buy this, as you'll find out. So it's got 4 tracks on it. Walking in London, the single edit. This is the same as the music video edit. For some reason, there's a hatchet taken to like the first pre-chorus to cut it in half. But I think the other pre-choruses are left intact. It's weird. I don't know why the single edit is done that way. Then there's God is a Bullet live from the Vic Theatre 1991. This is different from the God is a Bullet live that we previously talked about. And at the time, this was previously unreleased, this version, and it mentions here on the back, it says Paul Thompson on drums. And then there's True and Bloodletting as other B-sides. So technically, I needed this for the edit version of Walking in London.
Can you tell that they were really enthused to have him on drums or not? I mean, wow, they put that on the credit right there.
Yeah. I know that one of the other drummers they had in was a man by the name of Harry Rushakoff. He was a common drummer for them. I'm not too knowledgeable about the rest of their other drummers. Now, this is something that's really rare because there's only 3,500 of them in the world. This is the French Collector. This was a promo CD, 5 tracks, nothing exclusive. Ship Song. That's a cover, I think. Yeah, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds cover. Joey, Darkening of the Light and the Beast, both from Bloodletting. Roses Grow Live from the B-side, also on Mike's version of Bloodletting. This was given out for free at their Paris 1992 concert. There's nothing exclusive on it. It's just something you get for the collection because it's rare, because there's only 3,500 of them, and I have number 2,498. But now we come to the rarest thing in my entire collection. This is Westwood One in concert New Rock radio broadcast from 1993. So this is basically they have the Westwood One radio networks had this show in concert New Rock, and they'd play concerts that they've recorded on that. So this was disc 1 was a Joe Jackson concert, about 9 track songs. David Cretan, I'm so sorry, I still haven't sent this out to you. I promise I will get it out before the end of the year. And then disc 2, which is why I bought it, was a Conklin Creek Blonde, 7 live tracks. So these are great quality recordings, by the way. These are professionally recorded. Ghost of a Texas Ladies Man, which never got an official live version. Someday, which has an official live version, but not from the prime years. This is prime Jeanette. This was recorded in 1992. Long time ago, which never got an official live version. Joey, which does have a couple of official live versions, but one's acoustic and one's not from the prime Jeanette years. Not that Jeanette sounded bad later, but this is like prime Jeanette. Then there's Bloodletting, which only had one other live version. God is a Bullet, which is the most represented live version. But this live version of God is a Bullet is great because there are two beep to cover up the F words. Now, if this was the only live version of God is a Bullet that I had, I'd be miffed. But I have there's only one live version of God is a Bullet out there that has profanity beeps in it. So this is very special. And then there's Tomorrow Wendy, which is, yeah. So there are some cool songs on there that make their only official live release. This was not cheap, let me tell you. It wasn't, it's so rare. It wasn't on eBay. It wasn't listed on Discogs. I had to go to the Discogs. Who has this? There were two people that had it. I went on one of them and I saw in his bio right up, he says, "Oh, I'm a big Joe Jackson fan. I collect everything Joe Jackson." So I sent him a very nice, polite email asking, would you maybe please be interested in selling the Concrete Blonde to me? And he's like, "No, I'm not going to break up the set, but I have a spare copy here and I can sell you that." So I bought the full set and I'm going to send Joe Jackson to Davy Cretin and keep Concrete Blonde for myself. So that's why Walking in London has a second disc, because I store, not in a paper sleeve, I store this in the back of my Concrete Blonde, Walking in London.
I think you've told us the story before in the past, but I'm still blown away. Like how rare that is.
No, I don't. I think I was keeping this in my back pocket. I don't think I've talked about this story yet. But yeah, this is incredibly rare. This is like the crown jewel of my collection.
Well, then to throw in an Iron Maiden reference, then I'm having a hell of a deja vu. But that, like, seriously, let's just pause a minute and acknowledge the rarity of that there wasn't a copy for sale, and he managed to reach out and acquire one.
Yeah, not only that, there has never been a copy sold on Discogs. It's -- for last sold for median, yeah.
So for him to get that, he's like the only guy in like the last many years to have acquired this.
There are only 3 copies in existence that I know of.
Right.
The one that the guy has, the one that he sold to me, and then one that's sold on eBay, which I saw from a sold listing. So there's probably more, but it's still incredibly rare. So yeah, that is, as I was saying, the crown jewel of my Concrete Blonde collection. And it's a fantastic listen. It's prime Jeanette live, Concrete Blonde, 1992. Some great tracks on there.
I think the comments are kind of coming in waves here. I looked over a new like 10 comments. So Rob Daniels is here tonight, and appreciate you, my friend. Metal Roger. What the hell is this, Rush? Okay. I don't know.
Probably did something Rush related.
So this is interesting. Dr. Dave from the Maxi Axe Band is a huge Concrete Blonde fan, like big time. So you might have to reach out to him and say hello. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Yeah, definitely in that dark realm of music that we're talking about here. And I'm always impressed with the stuff that Harrison manages to get, because it's always the rarest of the rare, really. Stuff that I didn't know existed. Don't feel bad. We're all here to learn, Roger. He likes Nick Cave, although it's funny, around the time he discovered Nick Cave, he heard he loved Scott Walker, and okay. That's interesting. Good for Scott, though. Also, did Harrison age 10 years since? No, but he did get a much better camera and lighting. So unfortunately, yes. I guess if you're saying that he aged 10 years, maybe you're seeing his flaws that were glossed over.
Well, to be fair, a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking with a family friend, and she's like, "Oh, my grandson is 15 years old now. I last saw him when he was like a small kid at 6, and I just like, I could feel the gray hair and wrinkles just forming as I heard that. It was like, oh my God, I'm old."
Anyway.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
We're going to a various artists compilation. This one is technically not necessary. There's nothing exclusive on here, but it was cheap and I was buying something else from the seller, so I bought it anyway. This is called Unplugged. It's basically acoustic tracks live in studio featuring a bunch of bands. So Concrete Blonde have Little Conversations on here, which is a cool deep cut. It's the studio version, it's not live, which is why this isn't exclusive. But there are a lot of bands you'll recognize on here, so I'm going to run through all this. Duran Duran with Ordinary World. Peter Gabriel with Here Comes the Flood. Roxette, Here Comes the Weekend. Charles and Eddie, Would I Lie to You? REM, Gardening at Night. I don't know how rare any of these tracks are. Crowded House, Weather With You. Anne and Nancy Wilson, The Battle of Evermore, a Led Zepp cover. Marillion, Sympathy. Mike, you can probably comment on that.
Very, very common. It's on their greatest hits album.
Yes, Concrete Blonde. Morrissey, That's Entertainment. Talking Heads, Psycho Killer. I know this one for a fact is live. Iggy Pop, Brick by Brick. Sinead O'Connor, Black Boys on Mopeds. Kate Bush, This Woman's Work. And REM, Swan Swan H. So a number of recognizable names on that one.
That's cool.
Now we're going to another Various Artists compilation. This one is necessary. So this is called In Defense of Animals. And Concrete Blonde contribute an exclusive cover, still exclusive cover, of Crystal Blue Persuasion. And their version is this sort of like spaced out, lush take on the song. By the way, I forgot to mention this unplugged CD. It's got manufactured by EMI molded into the bottom. It's a bit hard to see, but it is there, which you don't see on every disc. Now there are some other bands on here. Now what I love about this is that this CD, it actually, you might be able to see, but there's asterisks next to some of the songs, and down here it says exclusive tracks. So they were kind enough to tell you what's exclusive on here. But Pearl Jam have a song called Porch. Michael Stipe of REM have an exclusive song called Arms of Love. Primus have a song called Too Many Puppies. And then Canada's own Skinny Puppy, funny track listing order there, have a song called Ode to Groovy, which is exclusive. Where else? Sarah McLachlan, I've heard that name. She has an exclusive live version of Shelter.
She's extremely popular in Canada. She is one of our queens of music in Canada.
And that's all the names that I recognize.
Have you ever heard of the Lilith Fair? It was a 90s festival.
No.
Okay, so she was the founder of the Lilith Fair, which was a very major all-female artist festival, traveling festival that was very big in the 90s. So, yeah, she was very influential. And I think I remember that CD from my...
Lilith being one of the first women in biblical history.
Correct.
History. Sorry, controversy again today.
Oh, boy. Good thing I put
Anyway.
a disclaimer at the front of the show.
Moving on, we are getting to the album Mexican Moon. Now, it's a long album. It's 13 tracks, and I admit I haven't given it enough time, but the first half does have some amazing songs on it. Opener, Jenny I Read, the title track, Mexican Moon. Heal It Up is a fantastic showcase of Jeanette's vocal talents, another one she did live. Jonestown and Jesus Forgive Me are both like really heavy songs with a groove in them. As for the second half of the disc, I can't really comment on because once again I haven't given it the time of day, other than to say that the final track, which is Bajo la Lune Mexicana, which is basically it's a Spanish language version of Mexican Moon, but it's not a proper translation. It's all right, what's this word in Spanish? What's this word in Spanish? There's no like syntax, grammar, or gendering done. It's just this word in Spanish, this word in Spanish, this word in Spanish, and so on and so forth. Now we go to another Mexican moon. Come on, focus. I'm here. Come on. Yoo-hoo. Hello, hello. Yes, good. This is the Mexican Moon maxi single. This has Mexican Moon. It's got Bajo la Luna Mexicana. It's got Mando Cello, which is a Cheap Trick cover. And then it's got two exclusive live covers on here, both recorded at the Whiskey, Los Angeles, October 17, 1993. The first one is a Hendrix cover, Castles Made of Sand. And the second one is a cover of Tears for Fears' Shout. Now, if I do recall correctly, Mike, that came out on this day many years ago.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I posted that on my Facebook today from the Alternate History Archives or whatever it's called. They used a picture of John Cryer instead of Roland Orzabal. But yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And this is our second Hendrix cover by them too.
Yes, yes. The second of two, although they might have done one live.
Now, are you seeing all these comments here? Or are we just going to ignore these?
I'm seeing them now.
Okay. Okay. Great. Anyway.
So I hate the original Tears for Fears shout. I do like what Jeanette does here with this cover. She takes it very literally. She is quite literally shouting and being like a gremlin on stage, just going nuts, yelling and shouting. And it's fun to listen to if it's not the most tuneful. And I do admit that I like it better than the original version.
Well, that's really ironic because the original version is basically all melody and some percussion. It's
the original version simultaneously managed to bore the hell out of me and annoy me to death, which is a very unique accomplishment.
Hey, Joey Suto, how you doing, buddy? Well, we're gonna have to get you on the show at some point too.
All right, bootleg time. There are very few Concrete Blonde bootlegs that you can get physically. This one is called Mexican Heartbeat, and it's from the Mexican Moon Tour. I don't think it's a full show. It's a Luxembourg bootleg from 1994 of a Los Angeles show in 1993. It's it's good quality audience recording, and it's got a number of songs, and it's got Bloodletting, Ghost of a Texas Ladies Man, When You Smile from Mexican Moon, Long Time Ago, Someday. The real highlight here is the back-to-back Heal It Up and Jenny I Read, both from Mexican Moon, both two of my favorite songs, both amazing vocal performances from Jeanette. To actually get, these are the only live versions you can get of them, official or otherwise. And Jenny I Read is not the acoustic version they'd sometimes do that you can see on YouTube. This is the full-blooded electric, like the album. Jenny I Read is one of my favorite songs off that album, and to get an actual live version of it is phenomenal. Then you've got Joey, Days and Days, Mexican Moon, 11 minutes 56. The reason why is because there's also an unlisted cover of who does Everybody Knows, Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen's Everybody Knows. And then there's Shout and Castles Made of Sand, recorded at a different venue to the official ones. But yeah, this is a really cool bootleg. It's probably marginally easier to get than the Westwood One radio, so this might be an easier way to get some live stuff. I'm not sure. I assume We Can Do Without is a Tears for Fears song.
It's one of the lyrics. Shout, shout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got some good comments about Shout, though, because I am with Uncle Meat on this. I used to hate Shout. Now I love that song. I think it's different when you grew up in the 80s, in the early 80s as a rocker, and there was such a divide between rock and new wave. And, a band like Concrete Blonde were influenced by both, which is one of the things that makes them a little bit different.
So I just opened up the cover here, and it's got the lineup notes here on the inside, and I'm reading, like, it says Jeanette Napolitano, guitars, bass, percussion, keyboards, vocals. I'm like, okay. Then it says Larry Rushakoff, not Harry Rushakoff. It says Larry Rushakoff, drums. Then it says Paul Thompson, drums, percussion. And then it says James Mankey, guitars, bass guitar, synthesizer, vocals. So something weird is going on with this. What they're like, I don't know where they got their information from. Maybe they looked up like every person in Concrete Blonde and like every instrument they've ever played, and they just put them all down, even though they've listed 2 drummers on here.
Well, some of the names have to be right.
Yes. Jeanette is probably right, as is James.
James, yes.
All right. We're going to another radio one, but this one is a lot easier to obtain because this one was actually sold. This is ONXRT, or maybe it's on XRT because it's 93 XRT is the name of the station. So this XRT 93, basically, they would put out CDs every year with like a bunch of tracks from their archive, live performances that were broadcast on the radio. So for Concrete Blonde, you get an exclusive and the only official live version of Dance Along the Edge from the debut. Dance Along the Edge is one of my favorite Concrete Blonde tracks. Get an awesome live version of it. Is just phenomenal. It was recorded at the Vic Theatre, Chicago, 1991, which is the same gig as the God Is a Bullet from the Walking in London maxi. Good quality recording, although the mix... come on. Every time I look to the side, it's like, where did Harrison go? Peekaboo, yeah. Where was I? The mix is a little lackluster, but it is what it is. It's still fine. As for other bands on here, there's Talking Heads with a song called Pulled Up. I think Robert Cray. I did show this off before. I think Robert Cray people knew. I guess I showed Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side, and Bob Marley and the Wailers with Natty Dread. A few other bands that I don't recognize, but I more than certainly bought it for Concrete Blonde. All right, so now we get to the reason why I don't have many of the early singles, because this wonderful B-sides / rarities collection called Still in Hollywood. So this collects a whole lot of B-sides, covers, non-album tracks, everything. You know, it's got I'll Chew You Up and Spit You Out. It's got Everybody Knows, the Leonard Cohen cover, which was originally on a movie soundtrack. Was it Pump Up the Volume? I can't remember what movie it was on. Yeah, okay.
That sounds right, because I did own Pump Up the Volume at one point. I can't remember what I bought it for. I think a Soundgarden tune, but yeah.
There is the title track of Free from 1999, Free, which wasn't actually on the album and was a non-album track. There is the live version of God is a Bullet from the Vic Theatre from here, but there isn't the live version from God is a Bullet from the Bloodletting Tour edition. I guess... Yes, thank you, Rob. I should have known Rob would know. So that's why, because I guess they didn't want to put two live versions of God is a Bullet on here. They had to pick one, so one remained exclusive to the Australian Tour edition. Probably Will is a cool acoustic non-album track. Mando Cello, I believe, is an original Concrete Blonde song. No, that was a Cheap Trick cover.
I think you said earlier it's Cheap Trick.
Yeah, the Ship Song, Nick Cave, an exclusive acoustic performance of Joey. Little Wing is on here as well, which is why I didn't need to get it on Mike's copy. Then Roses Grow live, Skies a Poisonous Garden live, Tomorrow Wendy live, the B-sides that appeared everywhere. The extended version of Bloodletting the Vampire Song, which was the last version I needed. And then some songs, A Simple Twist of Fate, Side of the Road, 100 Games of Solitaire, which I believe are all Concrete Blonde originals. This is a really good collection. The irony is, like, it's not a greatest hits, but if you started with this, it would still be a great place to start, because it's got, like, the well-known songs, live versions of Joey, God is a Bullet. It's got great deep cuts. It's got a whole lot of cool stuff on it. All right, back to a various artists comp. This is called Fast Track to Nowhere, but it's songs from the Showtime original series Rebel Highway. Now, these are all covers of, like, classic rock and roll songs. So Iggy Pop's here with Come On Everybody, Los Lobos do Lights Out, Concrete Blonde do this really cool version of Endless Sleep. They've turned it, well, I haven't heard the original, but the Concrete Blonde version is really dark, atmospheric, sinister country twang. It's really awesome. Then Sheryl Crow has I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday. A man by the name of, I assume he's a man, but Charlie Sexton with, well, he's a man, I hear him singing. Charlie Sexton with Race with the Devil. Not the same Race with the Devil that Gun do. It's a completely different song called Race with the Devil. And that's all the bands that I recognize. This is the most recent acquisition. I found this on Discogs while just searching Concrete Blonde various artists just to make sure I'd got them all. Yeah, I bought it for that cover of Endless Sleep, and it's a really cool version. Now we get to what I think is a boring, if not when I say boring, it's the best place to start, but it's boring because it's a greatest hits. It is a greatest hits recollection, but it's the best place to start, I think, for me, because it's got 18 tracks. It's got all the hits, all the songs, like the live standards, all the most well-known songs, and it's still got a number of really good deeper cuts on here as well. They do have other greatest hits compilations, but I don't have them, and they're like much smaller track listing. They're nowhere near as comprehensive. And The Essential was accused of, like, there are a couple songs like, why'd you put that on there and, like, leave off this? So, like, go with this if you want to start, and you'd like a greatest hits. If you want an album to start with, Walking in London or Bloodletting. But yeah, this has an exclusive edit of Walking in London. I say exclusive because it is a shorter version, but it's not the single edit. It is very similar to the single edit, but it's not. And it's also got an exclusive, previously unreleased live a cappella cover of Janis Joplin's Mercedes-Benz. And the reason is that, similarly to how Fleetwood Mac would traditionally end their concerts with what's her name, Christine McVie coming out and doing Songbird, Concrete Blonde's contents would often end with Jeanette coming out and doing a short a cappella cover of some or other cover song.
Okay. So this is the one that I'm going to be buying next, I think I've decided.
Yes, I would recommend this. Once again, out of print, but shouldn't be hard to get a hold of. Some of these are fairly easy to get a hold of. Some of them, as you probably expect, not as easy.
It's just weird to me that these greatest hits albums are out of print. Like these are big hits.
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with IRS. Like, what the studio album to start with me is either Bloodletting or where did I put it? Walking in London.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I hope I'm not out of focus. Come on, where's Walking in London? Oh, sorry,
I really love
massive stack of,
Bloodletting.
yeah. Bloodletting is an awesome showcase of their songwriting ability and their darkness, whereas Walking in London is an awesome showcase of the full range and power of Jeanette's vocal abilities. So either album is a great place to start. Now, the band did go on hiatus for a bit after the release of Mexican Moon, but they came out of, I guess you'd call it, retirement for a collaboration with sorry, I wrote this down. Chicano punk band Los Illegals. Now, the album is called Concrete Blonde y Los Illegals. Presumably, I believe E stands for and. So Concrete Blonde and Los Illegals. But the truth is, this is really more of Los Illegals featuring Concrete Blonde, because most of the songs are in the style of Los Illegals, and Jeanette only sings on a few. So I admit I bought this only for completionist's sake. I didn't go in with low expectations, but I didn't know what to expect. But I was surprised because there were quite a few songs in here that I actually quite really liked. You know, not every song gels for me, like a lot of other songs in the discography do, but there's songs in here like that'll, I'm like, yeah, damn, these are good. Like Viva La Vida is a song where Jeanette gets to sing with this sort of like, it's slow and sort of mournful, and Jeanette gets to like sing like with this full soulful voice. There's Maria Elena, which is built around this this sort of like cool riff with this groove that sort of goes through the entire song. And then there's the sort of like weird heavied up punk of Zich or Ich. It's Xich, and I'm not good enough at Spanish to know how to pronounce that. I'm going to say Zich versus the Migra Zombies. So yeah, no matter what type of music you listen to, you'll probably like at least one song on here. There's a nice wide range of songs. That there should be something for everyone. And there's just a shot of them all there. Now, the band went on to sort of hiatus again, but came back sort of improper, I'd say, in 2002 for an album called Group Therapy. Now, this is fairly rare because it's one of their later releases. It's on Shock and Manifesto in Australia. I don't know what it's on elsewhere. I was really looking forward to this album. I managed to snag one for $10 on eBay, which was great. But I was really looking forward to this album because the live album, which we'll talk about in a couple releases, that was done from this tour, and there are a lot of songs from here, and I loved those songs. So I was like, what else does this album have to offer? But I'm sorry, I admit I was disappointed. The best songs were all on the live album, and there was nothing like new in terms of deep cuts for me to find on this one. I don't like saying that, but this is probably my least favorite of their albums. Now, there was a single from this album. Now, according to Discogs, the only physical single release of Roxy was in Australia. So this is on Manifesto and Shock Records again. Now, I bought this because in addition to, I hate the song Roxy, I don't like it, but it's got exclusive tracks on it, so I had to buy this. It's got the radio edit of Roxy, it's got the album version of Roxy, and then it has the non-album track, The God in You, brackets, Mantra Mix. Now, this is the only Concrete Blonde song called The God in You. So I don't know if that this is the song The God in You, and it's the Mantra Mix of the song, and that this mix was the only song that got the only mix of this song that got released, but there are other versions of God in You in the vault, or I don't know if the song is just called the God in You brackets Mantra Mix and it's the only version of it. It's an interesting song. I saw this atmospheric, mesmeric, sort of like low intensity song, but yeah, as I mentioned, this was bought mainly for completion's sake. Now we get to the aforementioned live album, the only live album from the band live in Brazil. Now, Mike, I know you had a question about some of these album arts here, which I can answer, and that's that Jonette Napolitano, in addition to being a fantastic singer and a fantastic bass player, also likes to dabble in painting. So this cover here from Live in Brazil and the two Mexican Moon covers, I've got the maxi here, were painted by Jonette herself. Let me find the actual album here. That one and this back cover as well. So she actually painted those and the live album cover art. So she's a talented woman.
That's cool.
Now this is a fantastic live album, but not as like, because they've only got one live album. If you go into this expecting to have all the greatest hits covered, to have it be a definitive set list for the ages, you will be disappointed. But if you go into this on terms of like, they have a live album, I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is, this will be one of your favorite albums in the discography. Jonette sounds amazing for 45. She's not as good as she used to be, but when she chooses to let loose and really go for it vocally, she's still got it. Like, let me say, Jake Knott from State Farm has bought this and he'll agree with me. It's a really, really, like, this is like an Iron Maiden live album from the Reunion era. It's a really, really good snapshot of one specific era. Like On Vivo is Iron Maiden Final Frontier flavored, or Death on the Road is Iron Maiden Dance of Death flavored. This is Concrete Blonde Group Therapy flavored. And like I mentioned, the best songs from Group Therapy are on here. But there's also enough of the hits that you can feel satisfied. You've got God is a Bullet. You've got Bloodletting. You've got Caroline, you've got Joey, you've got Someday, you've got Mexican Moon, you've got Tomorrow Wendy. But there's also, Jonette actually specifically mentions towards the end of the tour, like the final shows, they brought out a number of deeper cuts. Like you've got Little Conversations here from the first album, Your Haunted Head from the first album, Days and Days from Bloodletting. So there's some cool stuff on here. They're great performances. There's even the cover of Everybody Knows by Leonard Cohen.
Wow.
Now we're getting to the end. So the final Concrete Blonde studio album is Mojave. Now, I didn't know what to expect from this. Pardon? Mojave? Sorry. Yeah, Mojave. Okay. I didn't know what to expect from this album. I hadn't heard anything from it going into it. And like, because they obviously never toured it, there were no singles. Like, it was a lot of this unknown quantity. I was like, is this just a contractually obligated get out of stop recording now? But no, this is anything but contractually obligated. This isn't deflated. This is a band that is still continuing to push and expand their sound. There are songs on here that don't sound like anything else in the discography, but sound like a natural evolution of the band's sound. I really like this album. And I was surprised how much I like this album. There's some great songs on here, like the A Road and My Tornado at Rest being more like rocking, sort of mid-tempo rockers. Hey Coyote is this really unique song where it's got this really sinister, dark sound. The verses are like spoken word facts about coyotes, and then the chorus is like this ghostly sung thing. There's a song called Jim Needs an Animal, which is fun because it's like contrasting this sort of sing-along chorus of Jim needs an animal, whoa, whoa, with Jim being James Mankey. He's very deadpan. No, I don't at times during the song. And there's one time where Jonette goes, he took it real hard when his cat died. And there's this chorus of like, ohs in the background. It's a darkly funny song, that one. But probably the one that's like, I know it's a cover, but it's probably my favorite because just how good it is. It's a cover of Stan Jones's Ghost Riders in the Sky. And my God, is it a fantastic cover.
That's cool. They like skeletons and ghosts, don't they? And vampires.
Yes, yeah. The skeleton and the Mexican aesthetic is something that's been sort of. That reminds me, I have mentioned this before, but I forgot to bring it up again. On Mexican Moon and the Mexican Moon maxi single, the IRS dude in the IRS logo with his little. Normally he's got a little trilby there. They actually redrew the logo to feature
a sombrero.
The sombrero.
That's cool.
Which is like incredibly unique. I asked Tim of Tim's Vinyl Confessions about it, and he says he doesn't know any other time where a label logo was redrawn for like a specific release to theme in with. Come on, focus. Where's his? It was focused. Yeah, there he is with his fedora / trilby thing. So I think that's really, really cool, and something that you only notice if you stare at the release like you would back in the day with your vinyl and your Iron Maiden and looking at all the little hidden things.
Great observation.
All right, now this next one, Boston Tea Party 2 Live. This is a various artists comp. Is this official? Question mark. Discogs says it is. You can buy this on Discogs. The case in here says the leader in authorized bootlegs. The discs are CDRs. Unfortunately,
yeah,
it is what it is. I think it is
for a lot of these modern on-demand live albums.
Yeah, this is from 2004, but yeah, it is technically modern. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, it's a CDR, but the quality is good and good enough. And it's the only place that you can get a live version of Concrete Blonde performing "Ghost Riders in the Sky," which is an amazing performance of an amazing cover. The hype sticker on the packaging, because I bought this sealed, said a collection of and it listed a bunch of bands. It said, and other Boston artists rocking Bush out of the White House. Now, Concrete Blonde
that's a flash from the past. Wow.
Yeah. Concrete Blonde aren't a Boston band, but I'll give it a pass because I like this. This performance of Ghost Riders, 2004.
I was going to say 2004, same year that Steve Earle released "The Revolution Starts Now," which was kind of a similar motivation.
I don't recognize any of the other bands on here, but I have had a listen to some of the songs, and there are some ones that I like on here. This man by the name of Christian McNeil has a song called "Inside the Whale," which is a fun sort of bombastic acoustic number. And then there's a group called Sand Machine that have a sort of thrashy song called "The Differences," and then this sort of soft rock song called "ATM Machine," which is, I love the song. There's a line in it where he's like, "I drive an ATM machine. It gets 2 miles to the gallon." And the very first song is on these discs is the Liberty Fanfare, done by Keith's Brassholes, which is, I think, one of the greatest band names I've ever heard. And so the last final release I have, but not the last release by the band, I will get into what I'm missing. So this is called The Real Thing. It was a 1-track CD with just The Real Thing on it. This is signed. I believe it was signed stock. There's a line on here that said this is a special limited edition. I don't know how many of these were made. These these signatures are written on here in pen, but I'm pretty sure every version had it signed. It's a sort of mid-tempo song with this mournful pain singing. It's sort of like a comment on society itself at the time, and you can tell it's a modern song because the word "video game" appears in the lyrics. You're muted.
So that's a standalone single. It's not on an album.
Yes, yeah, not. It's a non-album track single. Yeah. So yeah, it's an alright song. Yeah. This is the final release I have by the band, but what am I missing? So that after Mojave, the band basically sort of went in full retirement in terms of recording albums. They did reunite a few times for like short one-off tours of the US here and there, but I don't think they've done anything for at least 10 years. So, as per Discogs, it's possible I'm missing things that aren't on Discogs, but as they said in Attack of the Clones, if an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist. So I'm going to assume this is all I am missing. From 1993, there is a 10-inch promo for Jonestown featuring an exclusive Jim Jones edit. I think, but I can't confirm, I think there's a couple of other sporadic promo releases with like remixes and edits, but that's like the very bottom of the list of things I need. Then in 1995, there was a bootleg called Acoustic Humiliation. As far as I'm aware, it's the only other physical bootleg that you can get of the band. Presumably, it's unplugged performances. I don't know. It doesn't look like it was very well put together because there are 2 songs listed on the back that never made it to the disc. Then for the actual really rare stuff that I'm missing, the rarest Concrete Blonde thing there is from 2002, a CD which which basically has two songs on it: a song called 2x2 and a song called Telepathy. This was limited to 500 copies, and I believe it was only available. You'd have to buy it from the merch stand during the 2002 tour. This is, I mean, there's probably less than 500 of those Westwood One Concrete Blonde thing, but this is the rarest official Concrete Blonde release of them all. It is the white whale of the collection. Ironic because it's a white CD. Yeah, it's as rare as I get. And then the last release by the band is from 2011, and it's a 7-inch with Rosalie on one side and I Know the Ghost, both new songs, on the other side. This is actually not as rare. You can buy one for about $86 AUD, including shipping. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but it's something that I can get if I want to. And then there's a couple of like radio collections with like live performances of Joey that I don't have. But like, as far as like proper releases by the band that I'm missing, it's literally just those two rare ones, that being 2x2 and Rosalie.
So a 7-inch single and a 10-inch single?
A 7-inch single and a CD, basically.
And a CD.
Is in terms of like official releases that you could buy that I'm missing. And then a couple of other sporadic minor things here and there.
So basically, after they did their final album, they released a handful of standalone singles instead of a proper album or an EP or anything.
Yeah, I guess when they were feeling it. Oh, and there is one on ONXRT Volume 10. There is a solo appearance of Jonette Napolitano doing Joey. But that's technically not Concrete Blonde, but it is something that I don't have but want to get.
Right, that would be a solo recording, and she's got other albums.
Yeah, she does have solo albums that I haven't looked into. And then there's, of course, like Dream 6 and the few releases from before that the band was named Concrete Blonde, but that's not Concrete Blonde.
Right.
So this is probably one of the most complete Concrete Blonde collections in the Southern Hemisphere, if I had to go out on a limb.
Yeah, definitely.
To toot my own horn.
That's a very impressive collection. Absolutely. Well done.
Wow, 1 hour just about exactly. Talk about
just
good
about.
timing.
And I think we've got some people listening to Concrete Blonde. I think you've turned a few people around, and I'm really excited. We're gonna have to check out this band called Mesa or Misa that they keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Misa, have to check it out, Harrison.
Yes. This also functions as a nice collector's guide to Concrete Blonde if you are of that ilk.
I remember Pretty and Twisted in the mid-90s.
That was a solo album.
Thanks for tuning in, Keith. All right, well, let's quickly plug what's going on next week. I'm not going to reach over and grab the CD. Death on the Road, 50 Years of Iron Maiden. We have Jex Russell back to do a special live episode. Yes, we will be live again next weekend to do Death on the Road. I'm going to commence my listening tomorrow and start prepping my notes. And Jex is one of the very few people we know that owns the DVD, so he'll come at it with the Never Be Jar Jar Binks again. He'll come
Metal Roger, I'm just going to tell you that on more than one occasion, I unironically do choose to be Jar Jar Binks, so you better be careful, because I'll be like, oh, hey, there, Captain Tupples, Misa back.
Harrison is a prequel fan, and I think, sometime in 2026, we might do another Star Wars episode. I would like to revisit that. We haven't done that topic in a long time. Anyway, so that's what we got going on next week. So those like Owen who wished we were doing 50 Years of Iron Maiden this Friday, we got it coming back for you next weekend. And I got to tell you something else, is that our good friend Uncle Neat recorded an episode with us this week that we are very proud of, and we can't wait until you see this episode that we did with him. It is awesome. And look at Rob. Rob is already checking out the songs we've recommended, so that's awesome. Harrison, any last words before we go out on a song?
Oh, gee, I will have some last words. Hopefully these won't be them.
So that's it? Nothing else?
Yeah.
We caught Harrison laughing again.
Yeah, that's probably the best on-camera laugh you've ever heard from me.
Probably, yes. I might have to cut that into a short. I know you want to introduce this song. This is a very special video that you made, and we're actually going to do.
Well, I thought we were going to play the studio version this time.
Oh, I want to play your version.
But the studio version is more.
I'll tell you what. we'll let the show go a little long today. We are going to play the studio version. Then we are going to play the Lego animated version. We're going to do both. How's that? I want to see the Lego version, man. We haven't played it in weeks. It's
on YouTube. You can look at it anytime. Anyway, so this is a song called "I Don't Advocate Drugs" by Canadian band Max the Axe. It is one of my favorite songs by the band. I love both versions, but I specifically picked the studio version this time because it is, of the songs that we have available to play, it is the closest to the sort of sound and style of Concrete Blonde.
Perfect. So first, the studio version of "I Don't Advocate Drugs" by Max the Axe featuring Uncle Meat. No, this isn't the version featuring Uncle Meat. This is the version featuring somebody else. We got Uncle Meat later on, though, on the Lego animated version, which Harrison made himself, and we're going to do a special episode breaking down that really cool video. So stay tuned, folks. We have "I Don't Advocate Drugs" by Max the Axe twice, and we will see you next week for 50 years of Iron Maiden. See you then, and have a great weekend.
Hey, where's Pablo?
We are Max the Axe. This is a song about drugs. me and he said, try some of this and you'll be feeling free, yeah. Yeah, I tried one more and it wasn't enough. I took one more, yeah, that's the right stuff. Can't stop it now, I'm a runaway train. Can't feel it now, is this all in vain? I don't advocate booze. Drink too much and you're gonna lose. I don't advocate booze. Drink too much and you're gonna lose it. Once upon a time, this girl, she came up to me and you know what she said? She said, try some of this and you'll be feeling free. And I had one more and it wasn't enough. I took one more, yeah, that's the right stuff. You can't stop it now, I'm a runaway train. Can't feel it now, is this all in vain? Now once upon a time a man came up to me and he said, try some of this and you'll be feeling free, yeah. I took one more and it wasn't enough. Took one more, yeah, that's the right stuff. Can't stop it now, I'm a runaway train. Can't feel it now, is this all in vain? I don't advocate drugs, people. I can't. I'm talking about
That was the Gods with You Gotta Turn It Up Louder. And now to an interview with tonight's performer, Max the Axe. So tell us, Max, what exactly is a bell jar party?
Friday night, we're rocking the races. Come and see familiar faces. Uncle Meat, Rob Daniels, Jon Snow. Gibby's here, it's the place to go. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. T-Bone's here, it's time for a party. Come and see, got the comment started. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the Bad Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock. Grab a star of